All right, welcome back, everyone. This is episode 14 or 15. I can't remember. The Bridge broadcast. This is going to be a fun debate. I've got two coaches versus two of our high school players. We're going to have a little showdown talking about who the GOAT is. So if you guys want to do a quick intro of yourselves, we'll get started.
Coach Byron, been with the organization for 7 years now. Love doing it. I've coached just about every level, I think. Besides, I haven't hit varsity yet.
Coach Eric, I've been with the program for like 5 years. I guess I did lower school and middle school, and then for the past 2 seasons, I've done varsity.
I'm Marcus. I'm with the GOAT team, Team LeBron, and I've been with Bridge about 8 years.
My name is Kevon. I'm a goalie for the varsity Eagles, and I've been playing Bridge since third grade, fourth grade.
Yeah,
and I'm going into my senior year, and I'm a big King Lele fan. So this debate's going to be real easy and short.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Okay, so before we get into the back and forth, and I can't wait. I'm just salivating here. Did you guys all watch The Last Dance, the last 2 episodes, or I guess the full documentary now?
Yeah, it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was cool.
I watched it all.
Byron, what do you think just overall? What is that set in stone for you for Michael, or is it just all stuff that you're like, I already knew all this? Like this is just same information over again?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely knew and understood the greatness that is Michael Jordan, and I appreciate the game of basketball, but it was good. There were a lot of teams that he beat along the way that I didn't realize how good those teams were, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be an argument that throw up. But he beat
Especially that East.
Exactly right.
Yeah, remember when the East was good?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Like some of the great players of that era who the GOAT denied, getting championships because he was just that great. And some of those great all-time great teams that were denied championships because the Bulls were that great. And so I really appreciate the documentary.
Boys, what about one of you guys? Like, what are your thoughts? Because obviously, like, he's not. I mean, you were born well after he retired. He's not as tangible to your generation. So, what were you guys' thoughts?
It was cool. Vibe.
Oh, so disrespectful.
It was okay, I guess.
I mean, but did it add to the legend that is MJ? I mean, you guys obviously have some respect for Jordan.
Yeah.
But did it kind of add some more information to what you knew about him?
Yes, it definitely added some information, but at the same time, there were some things along the way that I saw that just didn't marinate well, Like, he could have done some things better. He could have been a better teammate, for example. I mean, the way he treated Horace Grant was just terrible. But ultimately it worked, but at the price, I don't think it was worth it, though. 6, I mean, come on. He could have had – if he would have backed Scotty, he could have had at least 9.
How many does LeBron have? Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot of that in this for the next hour.
Okay.
Eric, what about you? Because you're part of that generation of his era.
It was, it was interesting because I grew up watching, the Utah Jazz series, those back-to-back ones. It was cool to see, like Sean Kemp, those guys that were kind of overlooked, like Coach Byron said, with the Supersonics, like that team was dirty. And then kind of to see how Jordan almost broached like 3 eras, right? Because he started playing like Larry Bird, finally beat Magic Johnson, and then the 90s era. And then he showed back up. I guess they didn't really cover it, but he was with the Wizards for a while too. So
yeah, they really just kind of ended his career in '98. They didn't really talk about the 2 or 3 seasons he was with the Wizards, but
there was a lot of drama there. So
first question, and this is kind of open-ended to or whoever wants to grab it. Why is the debate between MJ and LeBron and why isn't Kareem or Kobe included in that? Why is it right now just MJ, LeBron?
I say it's between MJ and LeBron because LeBron started off in high school. He had the hype around him ever since he was in high school. Nobody has ever came into the league with so much hype and so much potential and so much fame on them that all the lights, all the cameras are on him. And so he's lived up to it. So we follow him throughout his career. And the only person we can really compare him to is Michael Jordan because we saw Jordan win 6 straight. But with LeBron, we all knew he was trying to chase Jordan. So we've all been watching his chase very closely. And ultimately, he has surpassed him. So that's where that's come from.
So you don't think that applies? You don't think that applies to Kobe though?
Kobe
Was followed right out of high school, and there was a lot of.
He was, but
he also won 2 more.
Okay, yeah, but he was identical to MJ, but ultimately he wasn't as good. I mean, LeBron is a completely different player. His style's different. Everything's different. Kobe, he imitated Michael Jordan, so it's kind of hard to say who's better between them two if they're exactly the same, or just one's a bit better than other.
I think what hurt Kobe, which is not fair, were those down years when he didn't have Shaq or Paul, which still isn't fair to him because those years, that's when you had the powerful Denver Nuggets, when the Nuggets were really good. You had the Spurs always, of course. Again, you had all those other teams. And so I think because Kobe had like those 2, I think like losing seasons and didn't make the playoffs, I think society kind of really, really harped down on that. And also the feuds that he had and the reputation of him not being, a passing guy. I think that kind of detracted from it. Another argument that I hear about against Kobe is that, when Jordan was in the game, when Jordan was in the game, he was the best player throughout the whole entire time he was in the game. And then when LeBron came in, LeBron was like the best player the whole entire time he's been in the league. And Kobe, Kobe had maybe like, 4 or 5 years where he was like the undisputed best player. But even then, he didn't get the MVPs for those years. But I think, that's been a knock on Kobe. With Kareem, the argument has been that, there were very few franchises and there were a lot of expansion teams at the time, and so he was able to just dominate. But I would feel less strong about someone saying Kareem's the GOAT than I would with someone saying LeBron's the GOAT, because that's just crazy.
I'm going to pretend to be as unbiased as possible. I'm sorry, Marcus and Kevon, you're playing against the house here, so I don't have to tell you. I also think we want to talk about like the culture and the cultural impact that LeBron and MJ have had, right? So let's just start with just straight up 1v1 in their prime, LeBron versus MJ. Who wins?
LeBron.
And
LeBron gonna drive him. LeBron is gonna drive him every time. Michael Jordan not gonna be able to really contain him if he's trying to drive him in the 1v1. It's as simple as that.
Well, I don't know about that. LeBron, LeBron's great going, north-south, but Jordan was also, the defensive MVP one year, then a 9 times starting all defense. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. He also pretty much perfected the fadeaway shot. So I don't think LeBron's length would really affect him.
Well, for what I was just talking about there, I was just talking about LeBron on offense, Jordan on defense. I ain't got to Jordan on offense yet. But, yeah, I was just talking about Jordan.
I just want to point out that LeBron is 6-team all defense. His defense is overlooked, okay? He's in year 17, and his defensive win shares were out of this world this year before, the whole COVID thing. We were going to win another championship, but that's not the topic, So Michael Jordan against LeBron in a 1v1, first off, how would Jordan, stop LeBron? LeBron has – his field goal percentage is better. He shoots 50%. Jordan shot 49%. So people say LeBron can't do it in Jordan's era, even though he shoots. He's bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, everything.
Oh.
So, I mean, which part?
I'll come back to percentage.
I'll give you bigger.
Stronger.
I'll give you stronger.
Faster.
I'm not giving you
I will
faster.
not give you faster.
I'm not giving you smarter.
Did you see that block on Andre
One
Iguodala?
block?
That's the block. That's the block.
Jordan did that same block when he was 40 with the Wizards, right?
He had to have crutches going down the.
He
still averaged 22 at 40.
And Kevon, it's not like he didn't match up against big guys in the 90s. I mean,
But ultimately, Jordan needed Phil Jackson. Without Phil Jackson, Jordan is nothing. I'm be honest. Without Phil Jackson, Jordan is nothing. Before Phil Jackson got to Chicago,
he won like 4 scoring championships before Phil Jackson.
Yeah, he wasn't going to win a real NBA championship.
They didn't have the team around him then.
Okay. LeBron has never had a Phil Jackson caliber coach. Tyronn Lue, he had a timeout when J.R. Smith grabbed the rebound.
Yeah.
He didn't use it. You tell me Phil Jackson would have made that same decision to just sit back and watch it develop.
I don't think Jordan would have allowed him to hold the ball for that long. That's what I really think.
Well, he would have came and took it from him? Like, how did –
Probably, yeah.
You're right. He would have airballed it.
So on game-winning shots, LeBron is 20% on 90 attempts, and Jordan's 50%.
Yeah, Jordan's clutch in playoffs.
That's because
so it's kind of tough to argue that he's not clutch. I mean, the guy had ice in his veins. As the shooting percentages go, you're comparing a small forward to a shooting guard. So
facts are facts.
So they're facts, but let's look at other small forwards when we compare LeBron and see where he stacks up. I mean, a lot of his shots are from within 1 to 3 feet of the rim. Jordan shot a lot of jumpers.
That's why it's called the MJ fadeaway. Not LeBron doesn't have one of those. This is why it's called the MJ fadeaway. I forgot where I was going. But Kevon said something, and he didn't get to finish it. He was like, that's because everybody knew LeBron was going to get the ball at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, it's Jordan.
Correct. That is correct.
Everyone knows the ball was going to Jordan. Like, the ball was going to Jordan every single play.
But like, okay, you go ahead.
So I guess what I'm saying is, like, Jordan has accounted for more percentage of his team's points than LeBron has on any of his teams. And that goes regular season and playoffs. So the original question was 1v1, right? I think a lot of people forget that, LeBron really doesn't have any moves. He has his big, strong, fast. He can do that, right? But a guy like Jordan, even like Kobe, in which Kobe has done it. If you look to the All-Star game in which Kobe and LeBron played against each other, and Kobe was D'ing LeBron up, you will see that, yeah, he got all that, but if you know what LeBron is about to do, you can stop him before he gets going. And that's what you got to do. Stop him before he gets going. But when you have a guy like Jordan with a skill set, which, he ain't got to blow by LeBron, even though he can, but he can beat LeBron in the post. And LeBron got inches over him, just off straight feet working skill set, And so that's what I think. And I think that's what the documentary also showed me more about Jordan's skill set, and it widened the gap between the GOAT conversation between Jordan and LeBron, because I was pretty close. I don't say going into it, but just doing more research. But like when you talk about the game of basketball and like legit skill set, like Michael Jordan is so far superior to LeBron James that's not even funny.
Marcus, what about you? 1v1? You want to add anything? No, you're good.
Yeah, I think we're cool on that one.
All right, I got a rebuttal. Coach. I got a rebuttal to Coach Byron said.
All right, go ahead, man.
Coach Byron, like, this is all Jordan fans. The only thing you see is who can give him the little shimmy or who can give him the shake and bake. Like, with LeBron, we don't need the shake and bake. We don't need the shimmy. We don't need the hezzy. We just need a lane, and we need somebody down there.
But it's one-on-one.
It's one-on-one. You don't have a lane.
Exactly. Because we're going to be Jordan going to be behind us. We're going to blow past him.
No,
he's not faster than Jordan.
Lane in the basket. He's not faster than Jordan. LeBron is a supreme athlete. He's probably the best athlete. He's probably the best athlete that's ever come to the NBA.
You obviously
I'll give you second. Russell Westbrook was first. I'll give you second.
Wow.
Did Oscar Robertson not exist?
Whoa.
The fact that you think Russell Westbrook is a better athlete than LeBron James is
I'll give you that.
That kind of discredits your whole whatever.
No.
Yeah, I could shut this down anytime there.
I don't agree with that statement.
Mute him.
No, I don't agree with that.
Hey, Russell Westbrook. Hey, he's underrated for his athletic ability.
No, he's properly rated, but he's nowhere near. He's nowhere near the athlete LeBron is.
I mean, he's nowhere near dunking on 7-footers.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, a lot of people get dunked on. I mean, that's part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's the bounce that he has. The energy. Nobody plays with more hustle and energy.
Let's talk about just like pure stats, right? So if I'm looking at the regular season stats, per game, Jordan has the edge on LeBron. LeBron has the edge in rebounds and assists. Jordan has the edge in steals, which I actually didn't know or kind of forget. Blocks, blocks are the same. LeBron turns the ball over maybe a little less than one per game. Their minutes are the same. Field goal percentage, pretty much the same, 49.7 for Jordan, 50.4 for LeBron. 3-point, about the same, 32% versus 34%. And then Jordan's got the edge in free throw percentage. So in terms of just pure stats, it's kind of, balanced. Obviously, Jordan's a shooting guard and LeBron plays a forward role. Who's got the more impressive stat sheet?
Jordan is the only player besides, I think it's Wilt Chamberlain. Well, first of all, Jordan averaged 30 points a game for his career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is career stats.
his career, he averaged 30 a game. And playoffs was probably even higher. Right, Jordan had a series where he averaged 41 points a game.
30. He averaged 33.4 in playoffs.
Exactly.
28.9 for LeBron.
And if you go from series, like he had series where he's averaging 40 a game in an era that wasn't, run and gun, shoot. And so this is what I also tell people about the greatness of Jordan. The NBA 3-point line wasn't instituted until 1979, right? Which would mean Jordan was like either a high school senior or junior. So that wasn't even part of the game. And so he didn't have the time to, understand that, okay, the 3-point is part of the game. But however, he still came into the league and picked up the 3-point shot, even though he was more comfortable with the 2-ball. But with that being said, Jordan probably averaged, like most guys in the 80s and 90s, like 2 or 3 shots, three-pointers a game.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas now, people are shooting 13 or 15 threes a game. And still, just shooting only 2s, Jordan averaged 30 points for his career, including when he was 40 years old with the Wizards. So, I mean, if you take away those 2 years, his average for regular season is like 33, 34. I know a lot of guys might bring out the rebounds and assists for LeBron, which is, like I said, which is definitely impressive. But again, Jordan was a shooting guard. His role was to score. And there's called an offense, right? Everybody has positions on the floor.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of even like Russell Westbrook's, right? Average a triple double for a season. It's like, yeah, it's impressive stat wise, but that means you're obviously out of position, right? You shouldn't be getting 10 rebounds a game,
right?
As a point guard that comes back to haunt you when it's the series or when you're in the playoffs, and you can't keep that same type of energy, that type of game plan up for the whole series.
Boys?
Well, really, I was just going to bring up the rebounds and assists. He kind of touched on that a little bit, but, LeBron got him beat there. Then again, Michael Jordan was really an offensive player. LeBron, I feel like LeBron's a better overall player. He's still doing his thing on offense, but he's also really handling his weight on defense too. And it's not a huge gap, but it's a sizable gap that you can see on the graph with LeBron stats over Jordan on the defensive side. So I just feel like LeBron got him beat overall.
Jordan's a much better defensive player than LeBron ever will be.
So for guards, which I found this interesting. I kind of, it's kind of tough. I mean, they're both great players, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really, LeBron plays more of like he could play a power forward, small forward, point forward, whatever. And Michael Jordan was always a shooting guard. But I found it interesting over the length of their, Jordan's career. He was top 5 in both steals and blocks per game over his entire career for guards, which no one else had that stat. So he definitely, on both sides of the ball, he was just an animal.
As King Lily gets older, he gets wiser. We can see this in the stats. This year, he averaged 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists. This is the biggest difference between Jordan and LeBron. Jordan gets the ball, and nobody's going to stop me, and I'm going to go score. LeBron, he dissects the defense. He knows what the defense is going to do before he even moves. He knows what the defense is going to do before the game starts. He practices on NBA 2K. If you go on his Instagram story, I follow his Instagram. I got him on post notifications. I'm not going to lie. I've DM'd him a couple times. I still wait for a response. But anyway, he's practicing. He's practicing 24/7. So
2K.
Yes, 2K.
Video games.
Yes. Video games you can learn a lot from. So he's averaging 10 assists in year 17. So he's knowing what the defense is going to do before he even moves, which puts him far beyond anybody else. Like, if you're just going to say, we want somebody that's just going to go score 60 or whatever, while we compare James Harden to Michael Jordan. Like, they were doing it at one point. Nobody has ever gotten compared to the closest person they compared to LeBron to was Zion Williamson, which he's not even close to LeBron. But we could compare James Harden to LeBron.
You know why they don't compare anyone to LeBron? Because LeBron is not the GOAT.
Because nobody's ever been like him.
No,
he's once in a lifetime, once in an earth time.
Why would I be like, hey, you know who Kevon remind me of? You know that goalie for High Point?
The backup. Not the stand. He's not the standard, Kevon. That's the point.
That's the point.
No. LeBron is the standard. He set the standard.
No, he's not the standard.
Not
yes,
okay. All right, I want to get away.
It's like saying that there's some Phil Mickelson in someone when there's Tiger Woods right to his right.
Yeah, I mean, you can Happy Gilmore.
I guess so. You could.
Here's the thing that I care about: rings. Jordan, of course, is 6-0. LeBron is 3-5. To the Eagles here, defend that.
Matthew Dellavedova at one point was our second best player on the team. You had Scottie Pippen. We had Matthew Dellavedova. Let that marinate. Matthew Dellavedova. When has he ever been an all-star? When has he ever made first team, second team, anything? So just think about that. Matthew Dellavedova. And then we had to face a team that I know y'all salty, but they beat your record, and we still beat them. First year we had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love get hurt. You know,
those sound like all-stars to me.
Yes, but they were hurt. They're not all-stars if they're off the court.
They don't sound like Matthew Dellavedova. But
they're off the court. They're off the court.
That's 1 year. So, okay, how about we take that 1 year away? We're going to give LeBron that 1 year. Let's say 4-4 now.
Okay, so check this out. I will give you against the Mavericks when he had the breakdown. You know, it was his first year. We were still trying to get things together with the big three. So
in the finals.
Yes, in the finals.
Okay.
We're not even going to talk about how Michael Jordan got swept twice in the first round. At least we made it.
Okay, well, time out here.
I'll talk about it.
Yep. So,
time out. So that Celtics team had 5 all-stars starting. And that 1986 Celtics team's probably a top 3 team all time.
So again, revisionist history is funny like that. A lot of folks talked about how LeBron didn't have any help and all this good stuff, and that's why he was losing these finals. But he had 4 years with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, a guy who got a championship without him. That's neither here nor there.
He had Shaq.
So he had an old Shaq, like a fat old Shaq who retired maybe 3 years
ago. Shaq is Shaq. Who's going to stop him?
So I'm saying, okay, let's go those 4 years. He went 2 out of 4 those 4 years with 2 top 5 players in their position, maybe 2 top 3 players in their positions on your team, and you're supposed to be the greatest of all time, and you can only get 2 championships out of 4 years. I just think that goes to show how great Jordan was to not only just get quote unquote 2 out of 4 years, but he got 2 3-peats.
And I'll extend an olive branch here, though. I do think beating the 73-9, that Warriors team, I would say in a vacuum, that's probably better series, I guess, as like a team, as LeBron playing with a team, than I can think of for Jordan's. I guess maybe the last Jazz series. It's kind of tough, but
I agree.
I also think 2011 kind of almost wipes it off. He averaged like 17 that series. It's pretty bad.
He was locked down by the great
JJ.
Okay, I got a question for y'all. It's a real simple question. Scottie Pippen or Dwayne Wade?
That's not a simple question.
Yeah, it is a simple question.
So are you saying Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh?
No.
Over Scottie Pippen and Kukoc or someone else?
Phil Jackson. Scottie Pippen is Phil Jackson.
Wait, what are you asking?
Scottie Pippen. All right, which duo would you rather have? Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson, or Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh?
Ooh.
That doesn't really work because one is a
Yeah,
coach.
Right.
exactly. LeBron never had a coach. When has LeBron ever had a coach?
I feel like that's going to be the I guess the trump card every time you back on the argument.
He's gonna
He
pull that
didn't
out.
have a
Yeah.
coach. He didn't have a coach.
Hey, so that's a simple question. I mean, I'd rather have another great player and a great coach than just two great players.
My thing is, as great, and not to downplay how great Phil Jackson is/was, but it could also be that he also had some pretty great players to implement his system.
So let's look at it like this: through a big microscope. When LeBron is in Cleveland, Cleveland means the world to the NBA. When he leaves Cleveland, I mean, what? Just look at them now. They're a disaster. Like, stands are empty. LeBron is just he's such a great player that he brings all the media attention, all everything to one place, and they're automatically like everybody expects you to be in the finals, and he delivers. 8 straight finals, he delivers. I'd rather take 8 straight. What happens over 6 straight. I mean,
What happens happens.
What happens.
L's happen.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's a learning experience. I bet you this
He
year.
ain't learned yet, man.
Nah, he learned. He learned.
This year,
This year was a ring. This year was a
taking
ring.
him, man. He keep taking
year
him.
You
was a
can't
ring.
count this year. It didn't happen.
No,
When I
it
count,
happened.
I'm just saying. He did
It's going to
learn.
happen. It's going to happen. This year is going to
Okay.
be a ring.
Well, I will say this, Kevon. Would you say that the Eastern Conference was tougher when LeBron was with Cleveland or when Jordan was with the Bulls?
Jordan was with the Bulls. He had the Bad Boys Pistons and everything.
He had the Bad Boys Pistons, the Celtics.
Yep.
He had the Knicks.
Yeah. I mean,
There were some pretty tough competition. So wouldn't you say LeBron kind of had it easier at least getting to the finals than Jordan did? From the
hey,
Eastern
it's not
Conference?
our fault. Teams can't construct what they that's not our fault. We just there to do our job. Okay.
Listen, it's not Jordan's fault that Phil Jackson was his coach.
The coach matters. Look, okay.
Don't hit him
coach
with his
matters.
logic.
The coach matters, okay? Look at Portland. They have CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. They cannot get to the conference they cannot get to the finals.
Well, I mean, we're in a big 3 era now, essentially, and so you got to have a third person to get.
They had Nurkic.
He was hurt last year.
They still had Nurkic.
He was hurt.
He's played with them before.
He got them. What they were the number 1, number 3 seed, something like that.
Exactly, but they're not able to make it.
And they didn't even have Dellavedova.
Exactly. That just proves how good LeBron was. That he's able to carry on his back Dellavedova. I mean, like the team got reconstructed in the middle of the season. He was still able to carry that team, even though they were kind of lackluster with all the pieces around them. Even though we thought that they were going to fit, but still, he carried that team to the finals. Look at the teams LeBron has carried. Like, there's no question that LeBron has carried less on his back than Jordan when he's carrying Pippen. Well, he's not carrying, but he's riding along with Pippen and them.
When did they get Rodman again? When did they pick him up?
96.
96.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk
They
about
had
it.
Horace Grant before that.
Mm-hmm.
Grant got traded. Their defense, their rebounds immediately started falling drastically. Their defense just simply wasn't there no more. They needed that big rebounder. Jordan wasn't able to do it. They needed Rodman. As soon as they got Rodman, their stuff started going back up. Rodman was a key part. Don't just say they needed Jordan, because when Jordan had the opportunity to pick up the slack there, he wasn't able to do it. They needed Rodman. They desperately needed him.
I mean, but that argument, it goes the same with LeBron. I mean, I don't even want to talk about his losses, right? Because he got 5 of those, and that's too many to think about. The rings that he did get, he had help, just like every good team has help. So I don't get the argument couldn't do it without Pippen. Well, LeBron couldn't do it without D Wade or Kyrie either.
Hey everyone, so we lost our connection to the meeting. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to pick up right at the tail end of that question, that conversation. Did we resolve that question, I guess?
No.
Yeah.
Kevon agreed with us.
Oh, okay, cool.
No.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I'm sorry,
I
I missed that. That would have been the best part.
No.
Yeah, he said it's all about Jordan.
Kevon and Marcus, give us a story that would convince us that LeBron has a stronger mental game.
It's one sentence. Cleveland, this is for you. They're like, that's it. That's all I need.
But that's after the game.
Oh, but the whole series, he carried. That was mental. That's everything so mental about that series.
Is that all
He
you got?
came all the way. He came to Cleveland for one purpose, to get his hometown ring. That's all he went there for. That's the only reason he went there.
Yes.
After his what more do you want? What more do you want from him?
And that makes him a tougher mental competitor than Jordan?
Yes. To come back, his owner was talking behind his back. Well, not even behind his back. He was talking out to the public. He was talking negative about him, his kids, and everything. So to be able to say, I'm going to put this aside and come back and win you a championship after all you've said about me, it doesn't get much stronger than that.
Jersey. They was burning his jerseys.
Yes.
Coaches, rebuttal?
I still don't think that's quite like, mental basketball, but
it's not quite what I was thinking. We'll let him run with it.
Yeah, you can play with it, but of course, everyone knows the flu game in which Jordan was the pizza game.
Yeah, the food poisoning game.
The food poisoning game. I think the one I really liked the most that I didn't know about was it when they played the Jazz? The last 98, and they were like, yeah, Karl Malone or the Jazz. They did such and such to Shaq, right? Which is, Shaq is a 7'2", 320-pound big fella. And Jordan just looked into the mic and was like, I ain't Shaq, I ain't Shaq, you're not doing that to me, and that's just the kind of mentality that he had when it comes to just competitive nature, And that kind of goes back to y'all talking about how big and strong, LeBron is. Jordan like, hey, I ain't Shaq, I'm going to handle mine. And I just feel like he always had that confidence.
It's kind of tough to pinpoint one,
yeah,
I guess, Jordan moment. It seems like there's just a whole, I guess, like montage of them. But I would say it was probably just kind of its killer instinct, like anytime the game was on the line, that's his ball. And no one's really going to question that. The only time he'd ever pass it was when he was like, double, triple teamed, pass it off the Kerr or Paxson. But it was kind of interesting to watch, his clutch shot with Cleveland and kind of how that, I guess, built on itself and showed itself in those two Jazz series. So, yeah, I guess it's just kind of his game-winning shots for me.
That whole series about they lose to the Pistons the second time, Piston goes on to win championship, and they're in the weight room, and he's like, I got to bulk up. Like, I'm in the weight room the next day. He hadn't won anything. He wasn't at that level quite yet. I'm going to get in the weight room, and we're going to, have at it next year. And he was
said it right there.
What?
You just said it right there.
I said what right there?
That's thank you, Coach. That's the difference between LeBron and Michael. LeBron entered the league at that level. Michael, he had to build up to that level.
What level?
The level of being able to withstand the physicality in the NBA. The level of being able to.
What physicality in today's NBA?
You telling me
you're really putting the
you're telling me LeBron
Pistons against the NBA players?
You telling me LeBron doesn't get hacked every single time he goes to the rim?
He flops.
Oh, but then I was just gonna say that, Coach.
Oh, come on, he still gets
hacked. And just for the record, Kevon, Jordan averaged like 28 points per game his first year in the NBA.
Yeah, but it wasn't getting him to the place where
Jordan was the number 3 overall, had won a national championship at UNC. He was pretty highly touted coming out.
Yeah, but he didn't enter with that killer mindset. LeBron didn't either, right? But the difference is LeBron, he's kept the same mindset, and it's gotten him to the place where he's needed to be. He's needed to be in that GOAT position. Michael, he's had to wiggle his way around, which, Jordan fans like to skip over some years, but we don't talk about that. If y'all can skip over years, why can't we skip over years?
So 2 things. 1, what years are we skipping over? 2, you know what? If you want to skip over, we can skip over every year and just count championships. You want to do that?
No, because there's stories behind the championships.
Right, I bet.
Yes.
You don't want to do that.
Y'all just had the last dance, so y'all know y'all are on the high. Well, we're still waiting another 20 years when LeBron retires in another 5-7 years. That we need to get that last dunk. We need to get that last everything to marinate the greatness of LeBron.
This is for the coaches, and I guess we'll start. What would it take, if anything, What would it take then for LeBron to overtake MJ as the GOAT?
I think it's already too late, to be honest with you. I don't think, and this is not a knock on LeBron, I just don't think there's anything that he can do that can really convince me that he'll be better than Jordan. Just taking a pragmatic approach to it, I guess. But I really don't see him overtaking. I mean, he's done a good job with longevity and everything, but at this point, at 35?
I think for me, it would have to be, he wouldn't even have to win six rings for me. He would have to win at least 2 more. I do think Olive Branch is saying that, making it to the finals, regardless of how pedestrian the path is, it's an accomplishment, right? Losing, I mean, you really don't want to take solace in losing, period. But I mean, yeah, and that does take a natural toll on the body too. So I will, appreciate that. But I would say another 2. And I think if he would have won that a 3-peat with the Heatles, with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, I think he would probably be there for me. Or if he had beat the Warriors team again, he would probably be there for me. For me, it's not even just about the rings with Jordan. It's the skill set. And LeBron, and the documentary pointed this out for me, LeBron just does not have the skill set that Jordan had, or again, obviously the killer instinct, the determination to win, regardless of what he's facing against.
So, boys, kind of the same question, obviously in the inverse with LeBron and Jordan. So, what could MJ done in his career where this would be, not the discussion that we're having? What could MJ have done in his career?
I think I would have liked to see him pick up the slack a little better in between that Grant and Rodman transition. If he would have really boosted his defensive skills and showed that, all right, I really didn't need this third person right there, then I probably would be on the other side of the argument. Just because I really only see him as no, I'm not going to say that. Yeah, I just feel like if he would have boosted his defense a little bit more, I would be, on the Jordan side.
Fair enough.
It's just the whole, I think when people talk about Jordan, I mean, they see the scoring, right? They see the, scoring titles and all that stuff. But again, he's a much better defensive player than LeBron ever could have possibly been. I mean, he's a 3-time steal champ, a 9-time all-defensive guy when LeBron has only been a 6-time all-defensive guy, has never been a steals champion. I just think that's the aura that we get with Michael Jordan because he's Air Jordan. So we see him flying through the air. We see him offensively and sticking his tongue out and dunking. But his game was so much more all around. And he was so much better a defensive player than LeBron was, I think. And the thing is, with LeBron, he gets hyped up because of that block on Iguodala, right? Oh, he's a great defensive player because he got a behind-the-back block. Well, there's more defense to be played than one play of an important series, which I might give it that. But Jordan is just so much better defensively and offensively. I don't know where it comes.
Why are we doing this, Coach? What's the point of this?
Why are we here?
Yeah, Byron's so frustrated that we're having to do this, period.
This is mentally, defensively, offensively. I don't know. But
what do you got, Kevon?
All right, first, LeBron beat the 2 light-skinned assassins, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers, 2 of the top 5 greatest shooters ever in the NBA. First things first, but with Jordan, I would have liked to see Jordan. I would have liked to see him win. I would have liked him to win one without Phil Jackson. I think for me personally, that's the big thing I just cannot get over the hump with is that Phil Jackson just. Coach Byron, that's not my car. I'm just saying, it's the facts. It's the facts. Without Phil Jackson, he didn't win. I want to see him win without Phil Jackson. That's like the Warriors winning without KD. They did it, so they're able to advance to the next step. But
they won before KD, actually.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They won without KD. I would have liked to see him win without Phil Jackson because that's the major advantage that he has.
Culturally speaking, who has had more impact on society, on popular culture? Who is a bigger, more impactful, and why?
Society, I feel like we already spoke on this a little bit.
Yeah.
LeBron is a little bit more wholesome going in the community and stuff like that, has a school. But culturally, it's Jordan by far. His shoes are way better than LeBron's. It's not even a competition. It's not
That's
even fair.
Yeah, that's the
Jordan's
debate.
killing him there. Jordan's
Okay.
killing
Well, he
him.
had a few decades on LeBron
Yeah,
in the
for
shoe
sure.
department. So
Like I don't even own LeBron's. Most of my shoes are probably Jordan. So
With Jordans, yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you how many of you guys are wearing Jordans right now versus
Hold
LeBrons.
on, coach. You see these? These are some LeBrons right here.
Are they? I
But-
can't tell you. I don't
I
have
can't
mine in
see.
here.
You see that window
The
right
light-
there?
yeah.
Those are right out that window. No, just
Coaches, what is it about LeBron? Jordan, in terms of like culturally and like the way you grew up, that really hit for you guys?
I think it's different. It's across eras. Right now, like basically anyone can be popular on Instagram, and like LeBron's right there. So there are just so many different options as far as celebrities go. But MJ really like just opened up, and I guess that documentary kind of helped drive the point home that I didn't really consider was he was really, around the world, everyone knew him, and I didn't really know. It kind of touched on everyone. But, I grew up in Virginia, but everyone was a Bulls fan. Everyone had the 23, had a 23 shirt, jersey, had the shoes. Everyone wanted to play, pretend that they were Michael Jordan when they were playing pickups. So I think that has a lot to do with like, there was a lack of social media. So when we got to see him, the cameras are on him the entire time. So I would say he's probably had a bigger impact, but I would say from a, I guess a humanitarian standpoint, yeah, I would think Bron would be, he's probably the better, all around person. Whereas kind of the point Kevon and Marcus made, whereas Michael Jordan's kind of, he's kind of a business guy. So
Yeah.
he's not as concerned.
the only thing I would add is that like it's almost like Jordan took the initial impact, of being a cultural icon. Jordan paved the way so LeBron could be able to be as vocal about things as he is without having a lot of that pushback. He kind of showed people how to be a cultural impact icon, deal with that impact, and also the value of being a cultural impact, right? So the Kevon mentioned, like, the commercials, the shoes, the Sprite, all that stuff that LeBron has now. First of all, Jordan had it first. Let's talk about that. So Jordan had all that stuff first, and he was like the guinea pig for all of that, So if there is no Jordan for cultural impact, then there is no LeBron.
How about this? Let's do closing arguments. Make your case. Why is LeBron or MJ the GOAT? Marcus is scratching away
He's pondering right now. He's thinking about it.
at a game time speech.
About to roll out some stats right now. Some advanced stats.
Pick your category. You can go stats, you can go rings, you can go, I mean, I wouldn't go rings for you guys, but
Maybe not stats either.
Yeah, give me some closing arguments and we'll wrap the sucker up. Why is LeBron the GOAT, Marcus?
LeBron is the GOAT because I'm gonna say, well, I still feel like he was a better overall player. Yeah, his offense was on lock, his defense was on lock too. I feel like he really, I don't know.
That's all right. You think he's a better overall player than MJ? Therefore,
Yeah, I just think he's a better overall player. Yeah.
All right, Kevon.
So I believe that King Lily is better than Michael Jordan.
I should stop calling him that.
Who is King Lily though?
LeBron. King Lily.
I've heard that once before and thought it was
I've
awful.
never heard that before.
All right, sorry, Kevon, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, King Lily is better because just the expectations, like nobody's ever came into the league with the expectations of LeBron James. He was getting endorsement deals in high school. He was everybody was knowing about him in high school. I mean, Michael Jordan, his story, it's cute and everything. He fell in the 8th grade, but ultimately LeBron, the lights, the cameras, eyes, everything was on him. So just him living up to the expectations, and 17 years later, us still talking about him in the league and him being at the top of his game still. I mean, like, nobody's ever done this before. He's such a different player than everybody else because, I mean, nobody's ever been able to score efficiently or 50% pass at his size the way he can, besides like Johnson, Magic Johnson. He's just such a different specimen that is unmatchable.
All right, coaches.
I just think that, the skill set that Michael Jordan had I think it's a lot deeper than LeBron's skill set from a basketball standpoint. And that's not really a knock on LeBron. When you have the kind of measurables LeBron does, you don't necessarily have to rely off of, dribbling as much or, your shooting. If you could go north-south, get to the bucket. Now, I don't know. I just think as far as stats go, I feel like I'd edge towards Jordan. As far as intangibles go, like just kind of having that killer instinct, wanting to take that last shot and making the last shots, it's got to be Jordan for me. And just overall, I mean, people knock him on, people like Coach Byron said, people assume he didn't play defense. He did play defense. I mean, he played 100% the entire game. He didn't take any plays off. So LeBron's definitely top 2 for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, LeBron's a great player, but I just don't think he's quite up to par with Jordan.
10-time scoring champ, 3-time steal champ, 6 times, 6 rings, 6 times NBA champ, 2 3-peats, not 1, but 2 3-peats. So that's grueling on the body. 30 points per game for his career. 33 points in the playoffs. Never really had like a finals or playoff meltdown that you can really identify. 5-time NBA MVP, superb skill set, supreme athlete, great defensive player, underrated passer, underrated for this generation mindset of how to play the game, just knowing the game, student of the game. His impact on the cultural icon. The whole 90s were about Jordan. He made hip-hop. He was right alongside of hip-hop and all that good stuff. The fact that we're still wearing his shoes, 30 years later, we're still talking about him 30 years later, all that coincides to just have Jordan reign supreme. It's probably a lot more, but I'll just cut it short from there.
No, you're good. Yeah, boys, it was a valiant effort. I appreciate you guys jumping on and walking into kind of a lion's den of a conversation. And no disrespect to LeBron by any means. I mean, he's an incredible basketball player. Mm-hmm. But gentlemen, thanks for doing this. I appreciate you guys hanging out and just chatting for a little bit.
I appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
For sure.